So let's first talk about our formulas, no, for getting the R equivalent, the total current, and the voltage across each of the resistors. Remember that the connection, the way the elements are connected, whether in series or parallel, will affect those values. So that's why we have a separate discussion on both of them. Okay, now let's first talk about the total current here. Let's again use a water analogy, no? So meron kang flow rate na 100 gallon per minute. That's GPM. So meron siyang node, di ba, here. Nag-branch out into two. So nahati yung liters of water, the flow of water. So some of them will go to the other branch, and then the other to this one. So 60 dito napunta, and dito ay 40. And then here, it encountered another branching, another node. So again, there was a separation. Okay? But all of this water will be converging at this node, final node. So remember, or if you will compute the sum, that will still be equal to 100 gallons per minute. So with a twist, no, same pa rin ang current all throughout, but with a twist now. Yung sum of the current in the inner branch, meaning ito, these are the inner branch, is equivalent to the current na nasa outer branch, yung nasa labas. Okay? So here we're showing a schematic diagram. Okay, so the current here is 1.14 ampere rather, and then nahati, divided on these branches. This branch 3 amperes lang, 5 amperes, and then 6 amperes. Then if you add all of them, kasi mako-converge sila, diba dito, that will be 14 amperes again. Now these are a formula. So I total, the total current of the circuit, or yung current na nasa outer branch, is equivalent to the current flowing through each, is equivalent to the summation of the current flowing through each of the branches. That's why you're adding here. Okay? Remember, kapag series, equal yung mga yan, kasi 100 lang naman. I should put equal. But in parallel, mag-a-add ka dapat nung mga current on the branches. Okay? Now let's talk about the voltage across those resistors in each of their branches, diba? Remember, kung ano yung voltage boost or voltage gain from the battery, dapat ma-spend all of them, diba? It should be equal to the voltage drop. Pero what will happen if the charges chose to pass here in this path? So dapat po ang voltage na nag-gain niya from J to A, malus na ng charges na dumaan sa C to D. And in the same way, if ang dumaan yung charges sa E to F, malus niya, if this is 12 volts and gain, 12 volts will be lost as well here, or will be dropped as well here, in the same way and the same as this one. Kaya ganito yung iyong illustration on the right. So whatever is gained here, kapag dumaan siya sa C to D, it will all be lost. If dumaan siya sa E to F, it will all be lost. If G, as the same if it pass through wire J to H. Okay? So kung ano yung voltage ng battery, that's equal to the voltage across all or any of the branches. That's why you have an equal sign here in between them. Remember that if this is a series, we will be adding the voltage drops, kasi consecutively the charges will pass through the resistors in series. But in parallel, it can pass there are multiple pathways. It can pass on any branches. So kung dumaan siya on that branch, dapat malus siya na lahat ng energy after it passed through that particular branch. Okay, that's how you will, this is the formula for that. Now it's a bit challenging to explain how to compute for the R equivalent. Okay, that's why we will be relying with derivation. Okay, kanina madali lang, we just add, diba, para makuha mo yung R equivalent. But here it will be more challenging. Ito yung formula natin, diba, for the total current. It's the summation of the current in the inner branch. Let's also remember the Coulomb's, I keep saying the Coulomb's law, the Ohm's law. So if this is I total, let's start with that formula. Pwede nating i-specify, diba? Pwede nating itong i-substitute on each of the i's. So this one will be V over R1 plus V over R2 plus V over R3. Okay? So, nag-substitute tayo on I1, I2, and I3. We don't have to specify the V dun sa numerator because, I mean, they're all the same. They're all equal to the battery rating. Okay? And then, let's say we divide or we multiply rather. We multiply the whole equation with 1 over change in V. Okay? So, that means bibigyan mo yun, distribute mo yun on all of the elements inside the parentheses. So just to illustrate, no, if I multiply that here, the voltage will be cancelled out. No, that will happen. So matitira na lang ako ng 1 over R1, 1 over R2, 1 over R3. Here, I will have total current over voltage. Okay? And then, if I use another, substitute, use the Ohm's law again. Here, so I total will be I total times R equivalent. Kasi remember, I'm looking for a formula for R equivalent. That's why I did that. This will get cancelled out, leading me to the final equation for R equivalent for resistor connected in parallel. Okay, so ito po yung ating weird looking formula. So with this formula, you will realize later on that R equivalent is always lesser than any of the resistances. Okay? So it will take a bit of practice to get used to solving for the R equivalent. So if we have 12, 12, 12, so, sige, sulat ko lang, no? 1 over 12, 1 over 12, 1 over 12. Remember, hindi 1 over 12 times 3 ang sagot dyan, no? 12 times 3 is 36 pa. This is fraction. You're not just adding the numerator. So, what you do is 1 over 12 plus... Actually, let me pause. Let me pause for a while. Okay, so if we have the calculator here, how will you do that in your calculator? 1 over 12 plus 1 over 12 plus 1 over 12, 0.25. You can also, the answer is not 0.25, okay? Remember, diba, 1 over RQ, REQ pa yan. I-reciprocate mo pa yon. Dapat nasa taas. Dapat ang sagot mo ay REQ, diba? Not 1 over, not na reciprocal, not 1 over REQ. So, if you reciprocate this, 1 over 4 click mo lang yung ST. Eh di 4 yung mapapataas, di ba? So actually, the answer is 4 ohms. Now, if you want a more straightforward answer, put them inside the parentheses and then click mo tong here. You will get 4 already. Okay? 4 ohms. So, the equivalent, kung papalitan mo yung tatlong resistors ng arrange in parallel ng isang single resistor, ang ohms lang na kailangan mo ay 4 ohms. So, the equivalent resistance is lesser than any of the individual resistances. Okay, now let's perform a mathematical analysis on this parallel circuit. So I have R1 of 17 ohms, R2 of 12, R3 of 11, and then the battery rating, voltage rating of the battery is 60 volts. So the rating of the battery is equal to the voltage drops across the resistors. The R equivalent is equal to the reciprocal of the R equivalent is equal to the reciprocal of the sum of the reciprocal of the resistances, individual resistances. And the current means the current on the outer branch is equal to the sum of the current in the inner branch. Okay, let's first solve for the R equivalent. 1 over R equivalent, 1 over 17 ohms, 1 over 12 ohms, 1 over 11 ohms. Okay, so that's 1 over 1 over 17, 1 over 12, 1 over 11. Okay, what is that? That's 4.29 ohms. 4.29 ohms, remember. Okay, so R equivalent 4.29 ohms. Okay, so check na ako sa R equivalent. Obviously, current passing why am I saying current? Voltage across all of the resistor, that will be equivalent to 60 volts. And then I can solve for the total current. Let's solve for the total current using the Ohm's law. Finally, I said that correctly. Chincha. R equivalent. So the voltage rating is 60 volts, 4.29 ohms. That will be 13.98 amperes. Let me verify first. 60 divided 4.29. Yep, 13.98. Actually, 99 amperes. 99 amperes. Okay. Now, let's solve for the individual. Diba, iba-iba, no? Ang current na nagpapass dito. Pero dapat mag-add up sila sa 13.99 or 14 in that matter. I1 times R1. Divided by R1. So, this is equivalent to 60 and then 17 ohms. This is 3.53 amperes. I2 over R2, 60 volts over 12 ohms. That's 5 amperes. And then I3, voltage divided by R3, 60 volts over 11 ohms. That's 5.45 amperes. I hope that's equivalent to 14. Okay, yep, that's close enough. You're getting some differences, no? Kasi madami pa tong decimal places, di ba? Ni-round up mo lang. Okay, so that's how you do it.